Om Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyahe Sarva Vignopashantahe. Namo Namas Sadgurubhya Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Namas Sadgurubhya Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Yam pravrajantamanupetamapeta dvaipayano virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravobhineduhu tam sarvabhuta hridayam munimanatosmi yasvanubhavamakila shrutisaaramekam adhyatmadipamatitirshatam tamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasasunumupayami gurum muninam Yogindrāya namastasmai Shukaya Brahmarupine Samsara Sarpadashtam Yo Vishnurātamamu Muchate Kālavyāla Mukagrāsa Trāsa Nirnāša Hetave Srimad Bhagavatam Shastram Kalokīrena Bhāshitam Etasmādaparam Kinchite Manashuddhyena Vidyate Janmāntare Bhavet Punyam Tada Bhagavatam Labhet Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan Hari Bhakti Parayanan Purvacharyataham Vande Sampradaya Pravartakan Bhagavan Nama Samrajya Lakshmi Sarvasva Vigraham Srimad Bodhendra Yogindra Deshikendram Upasmahe Kalikalochitam Dharmam Nama Sankirtanatmakam Nirnetum Avatirnam Tam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje Hare Rameti Krishneti Nama Sankirtanam Sada Lokakshemaya Kurvantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarataschaarteshabhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yatsurayah Tejovari Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Kaita Votra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kimva Parairishwaraha Sadyo Hridya Varudhyatetra Kritibihi Shushrushibistakshanat Nigamakalpatarorgalitam Phalam Shukamukat Amrita Dravasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahet Srimad Bhagavatakyoyam Pratyakshah Krishna Evahi Svikritosi Mayanatha Mukyartam Bhavasagare Manorato Madiyoyam Saphala Sarvada Tvaya Nirvignenaiva Kartavyo Dasoham Tava Keshava Shri Hare Namaha Shri Hare Namaha Shri Hare Namaha Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome everyone. Thanks for adjusting the time. Like we discussed, we'll just keep it to 1 hour class today. And I know some more reviews are left, but we'll push it to a couple more weeks later, right? So we'll start with the 15th chapter today. So I'll start maybe give 15 chapters, a little bit of a long chapter. I think it's got 50 stanzas. So we'll try to do 20-25 today as well. Same meaning till there. So this one is kind of a continuation from what happened last time. So the last time we saw how Arjuna had just come back from Dwaraka after a long time. And when Arjuna was gone, we saw Yudhishthira was seeing all these ill omens, right, all over. And he was then towards the end, he was asking Arjuna about the welfare of everybody in Dwaraka and what happened. Why did Arjuna lose all his luster? That was the question Yudhishthira was asking. And in the last stanza, Yudhishthira asked him, saying that, are you feeling empty because, your most intimate friend, your Atma Bandhuna, Krishna, you're missing him? Is that the reason? Because he says, I can't think of any other reason why you will appear so dejected. So that's kind of where that chapter stopped. So in this, the Sutta Puranika is again continuing the story, right? So here it says Arjuna is definitely grief-stricken because, he's feeling that separation from Krishna. And so while Yudhishthira asked about a lot of other things also, I think the question about Krishna kind of was what caused him the most grief. And he was choking up because of that, because he was not, he was getting remembering, right, all the things that Yudhishthira was talking about. And Arjuna, he says, listen, he's lost all his luster because he says, I'm missing Krishna, and that's the cause, right? So it is pretty obvious from how Arjuna was looking. So finally, Arjuna then starts speaking, right? Because it reminds him of everything. So Arjuna starts telling, Krishna was not just Arjuna's friend, but also he was also his family, right? So because initially the Krishna and Arjuna have been friends, the same age almost, right, from the beginning. So they were always friends. But then because of Subhadra getting married to Arjuna and everything, they also became more family, also part of the family. So Arjuna starts remembering every single thing that was, that he has gone through with Krishna. And then he was getting very overwhelmed with that. So he starts off by telling that the Supreme Lord Hari, he's no longer with me, right? Who has treated me like the most intimate friend, he's actually left me off, right? He has now left me alone. And he says the great power which I have, which everybody, even the greatest of the demigods, used to adore and praise me for it, is now no longer with me, right? So he says it's just like how when a human body loses the life, then within a matter of minutes or a matter of hours, the body starts to decay. He says that is how my life is right now. But the moment Krishna has gone away from my life, all the luster, everything I have, every power I have is completely gone away from me, right? So now what Arjuna then he starts doing is he starts remembering, right? Like, which always happens, right? Anytime you're talking about somebody, you start thinking, what, when I was this age, I was with this person, we did it. Then at this age, we did this, right? That's what Arjuna is going to do next. He starts reciting all the instances where Krishna has actually helped him, right? And he's essentially telling that all of this I was able to do only because of Krishna being there. Now that the shield has come off of me, the original true form of Arjuna is getting revealed. He says, I was never this way. I was this way only because Krishna was there with me all the time. So now the true form is coming out. And so first he starts off by telling remember when during Draupadi Swayamvara, there were so many qualified people who were actually trying to hit the fish, with the eyes tied and trying to hit the spinning fish. He says, do you think I really did it? I couldn't have done it without Krishna being there and blessing me with it. So that I completely attribute that to Krishna. Then he says, when we come back, and then that was the time when the Pandavas come and the Pandavas and Kauravas make a truce. And then the Kauravas say, okay, I'll give you half the kingdom. And then they give them this forest, which is it's a barren land surrounded by the Khandava forest. So he says at that point, we were able to burn the entire Agni self. We were able to burn the entire Khandava forest, at which point Indra got angry. And then I was able to defeat Indra. That's why it's called Indraprastha, because Indra then decided to offer it. He says, how do you think we did it? We were able to do only because Krishna was on our side, and Krishna was the one who actually helped us out. Now, when the Khandava forest was burned, there was another demon there called Maya, who Arjuna helped out because he was asking for protection. That's the Maya who helped us build the great, the palace that they built, right? Which has got all this misleading things to trick Duryodhana, etc. So all of that was possible only because of Maya, who again, only with the help of Krishna, we were able to save him. And then he then ended up obliging us by building all this. So then he goes on to say, our younger brother Bhima, people keep saying he has the strength of 10,000 elephants. But in the battle against Jarasandha, when Jarasandha had imprisoned 20,800 kings, and then we had to go fight in that battle with Jarasandha, Bhima wouldn't have been able to kill Jarasandha without Krishna's help, because Krishna was the one who was telling Bhima the trick of how to actually split Jarasandha and all that, right? So he says even that wouldn't have been possible without Krishna's help. And then he reminds them, when Draupadi's when they were Vastrapaharanam was happening, and they were thinking, who came and helped Draupadi? It was again Krishna who came and helped. So at that time, Draupadi, put a vow, right? Saying that I'm not going to tie my hair till all of these people get killed. All of that was possible only because, again, Krishna was on our side. So he kind of goes through all of these individual examples. Then he again, in 11, he tells about, when we were in that forest. So at that time, the Durvasa Muni came. So he came with 10,000 of his disciples, and we had no food left because Draupadi had finished eating. So at that time, the last leftover meal from that patram, remember, Krishna came and Draupadi called, and Krishna ate that meal, because of which the Durvasa and all the other sages did not come back to us. So all of that was also because of Krishna. And then he says, the way I got my Pashupatastra, from Lord Shiva was because I went and impressed Lord Shiva and Parvati, which again wouldn't have been possible, without, Krishna guiding me and then doing it. And not only Lord Shiva, even when I went to Indraloka and all the other demigods' place, I was able to help them and do all of this again because Krishna was by my side. So without that, I wouldn't have been able to do all of that stuff. So he kind of goes through more of those things. Then he comes to the main one. He comes to saying, the Mahabharata war. He says the number of Akshauhinis that the Kauravas had, it was like an ocean, right? It was just impossible for us Pandavas to be able to defeat the Kauravas. And all I was doing was I was like just I was just like a passenger sitting in the chariot, right? I was just sitting in the chariot. Krishna was the one who was driving the chariot. He was the one who was navigating through all of this army and protecting me and doing all this. And the only way we were able to get through all of this Kaurava army was because Krishna was in the chariot seat. I had nothing to do. And then he says one very important thing, right? He says all the number of people who we got done, Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Salya, all these people who were there, it's impossible for us to defeat them. People think I was the one who was responsible for defeating them. He says, all I did was I went and bet a dead snake, right? So I was just beating up a dead snake because the moment Krishna was going in front of me and then his eyes fell on them, and he was already navigating. So they were already gone. They had already lost their power. And all I was doing was the snake was already dead. I'm going and beating the dead snake and then picking it up and saying, I killed the snake, right? She says, none of this was possible just by me doing it. And he says, imagine with all those people in there, not one thing happened, not even anything touched my hair. Right? He said, how is it possible? With so many people being there, how can I not get impacted at all? Right? Arjuna says, it's impossible. Definitely, I would have got hurt somewhere, but I came completely unscathed. Right? The only way I was able to come unscathed, just like how nothing happened to Prahlada, right? How Narsimha came and protected Prahlada, Krishna was there in the front protecting me from all of these people. That was the only way it is possible. And then he talks about one other incident, which I don't know much about, but he talks about when at one point, Arjuna's horses were very thirsty. So he had to take them to a place to actually get them water. So he had to step down from the chariot to make sure the horses actually drink water or take them to the water. So he says at that point also, nobody was able to get hold of me because I was completely unarmed. I was with the horses, and even that protection was again done by Krishna. So that was kind of all the places where Krishna has helped them. That's what he kind of talks through up to about 16, 17, right? He talks about. Then he comes to the other side of Krishna. He says, well, Krishna might have helped us in all of these things. Krishna was again a very dear friend of mine. So being a very close friend of mine, we never used to behave like, like relatives or anything. We were just friendly. So he used to refer to me as, hey Partha, hey Arjuna, hey Sakhe. So he used to call me with all these names because, we were such close friends. And he says, most of the times when we were together, Arjuna says that Krishna and I used to always live together. We used to sleep together. We used to eat together. We were always with each other. So when I've been in the most kind of, the most sensitive of my times, when I don't know what to do, when I didn't have any answers, when I was confused, when I was unsure what to do, Krishna was the one I always used to go to. He's the one who always used to give me the guidance, right? So there's absolutely none of that is there. He says, now I've completely missing my most dear friend, and because of him not being there, I'm completely void. So it says now that Arjuna, he says, you were asking if anybody who's like a lower person, right? Lower strength person defeat you. He says, yes. When I was actually there in Dwaraka, and I had to protect some people, the regular cowherd people, they were able to defeat me. I was not even able to protect some other folks from regular cowherd people. He says, this is the same Arjuna. This is the same Arjuna who has the Gandiva bow. My bow is the same. The arrows I have is the same. It's the same chariot I'm sitting on. It's the same Arjuna me. But I could not even defeat some basic cowherd people there. He says, so all of this shows that everything I've been doing in the past is not because of my strength. It is all because of what Krishna has been doing there, right? So he kind of talks about that. He says, this is like, without Krishna, some examples he gives, right? He's like telling that when you offer ghee onto ashes, when you put ghee onto Agni, it lights it up, it acts as a fuel. But the moment the Agni is diminished and this ash, you put ghee on it, it's not going to bring the Agni back, right? He says, similarly, without Krishna being there, nothing I do, I can actually bring anything back, right? My strength is completely gone. So that's how he first describes, everything, that what he's feeling, what he's going through. And then he comes to the question of what happened to the friends and relatives at Dwaraka, right? Which is what Yudhishthira first started the question with. So he says, you asked about our friends and relatives at Dwaraka. Because of the curse that happened, all these people in Dwaraka, they started fighting with each other. They started getting drunk, they got intoxicated, and they fought amongst each other. And only about 4 or 5 people are left in that entire dynasty. Everybody else is completely wiped out, right? And he says all of this is because nothing that we decide, that's what the Lord wants. Just like how a big fish eats a smaller fish and the other fish eats a lower fish, they started fighting with each other, and the most strongest of people started winning, and finally even they also finally were gotten rid of, right? So that's kind of where Arjuna talks, and he ends that conversation there. So it's around kind of like 2022, right? So we'll stop there for now in the meaning, and we'll finish about 20 stanzas today. We'll see. Okay, so today I had since we have 2 people back from Alaska, we'll give them a chance. So Priya, you and Gopiji can go first. Suta Vacha Evam Krishna Sakah Krishno, Bhratra Ragnya Vikalpitah Nana Shankaspadam Rupam, Krishna Vishlesha Karshitah. Suta Vacha Evam Krishna Sakah Krishno Bhratra Ragnya Vikalpitah Nana Shankaspadam Rupam Krishna Vishlesha Karshitah.
उवाच एवं कृष्णसखः कृष्णो भ्रात्रा राज्ञा विकल्पितः नानाशङ्कास्पदं रूपं कृष्णविश्लेषकर्षितः एवं कृष्णसखः कृष्णो भ्रात्रा राज्ञा विकल्पितः नानाशङ्कास्पदं रूपं कृष्णविश्लेषकर्षितः
सूत उवाच एवं कृष्णसखः कृष्णो राधाराज्ञा विकल्पितः नानाशङ्कास्पदं रूपं कृष्णविश्लेषकर्षितः एवं कृष्णसखः कृष्णो भ्राताराज्ञा विकल्पितः नानाशङ्कास्पदं रूपं कृष्णविश्लेषकर्षितः
शोकेन शुष्यत् वदन, हृत् सरोजो हतप्रभः विभुं tamevanudhyayan. That's one word. You'll have a double na there. First you put a in. Tamevanudhyayan, Next word starts with a na. Na shaknot pratibhashitum. Shokena shushyat vadana hritsarojo hata prabha vibhum tamevanudhyayan na shaknot pratibhashitum.
शोकेन शुष्यद्वदन हृत्सरोजो हतप्रभः विभुं तमेवानुध्यायन् नाशक्नोत् प्रतिभासितुं शोकेन शुष्यद्वदन हृत्सरोजो हतप्रभः विभुं तमेवानुध्यायन् नाशक्नोत् प्रतिभासितुम्
शोकेन गुष्यद्वहन हृत्सरोजो हतप्रभः विभुं तमेवानुध्यायन् नाशक्नोत् प्रतिभाषितुं शोकेन गुष्यद्वहन
Shushyad.
ओके शोकेन शुष्यद्वदन हृत्सरोजो हतप्रभः विभुं तमेवानुध्यायन् नाशक्नोत् प्रतिभाषितुम्
पृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः, पाणिनामृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध पुट प्लस प्रणयोत्कण्ठ्य कातरः. कृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिनामृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणयोत्कण्ठ्य कातरः.
कृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिनामृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणय उत्कण्ठ्य कादरः कृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिना मृग्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणौय उत्कण्ठय कण्ठ्यगातरः कातरः
Pranayaut. Sorry, and something was different the way you said that. Pranayaut kantyakatarah.
प्रोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणय उत्कण्ठ्यगातरः
Correct.
प्रणय उत्कण्ठ्यगातरः
कृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिना मृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणयोत्कण्ठ्यकातरः कृच्छ्रेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिना मृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणयोत्कण्ठ्यकातरः
Sakyam maitrim sauhridam cha, comma, saratyadishu samsmaran, nripam agrajam ityaha. If you want to break, you can break at those mas. Nripam agrajam ityaha, comma, bashpa gadgadaya gira. Sakyam maitrim sauhridam cha, saratyadishu samsmaran, nripam agrajam ityaha, bashpa gadgadaya gira.
सत्यं मैत्रीं सौहृदं च शारद्यादिषु संस्मरन् नृपम् अग्रजम् इत्याह बाष्पगतया गिरा सत्यं मैत्रीं सौहृदं च शारद्यादिषु संस्मरन् नृपम् अग्रजम् इत्याह बाष्पगतया गिरा
सख्यं मैत्रीं सौहृदं च सारथ्यादिषु संस्मरन् नृपम् अग्रजमित्याह बाष्पगद्गदया गिरा सख्यं मैत्रीं सौहृदं च सारथ्यादिषु संस्मरन् नृपम् अग्रजमित्याह बाष्पगद्गदया गिरा
Arjuna Vacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhu Rupina Yena Mepahritam Tejo, Deva Bismapanam Mahate. Arjuna Vacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhu Rupina Yena Mepahritam Tejo, Deva Bismapanam Mahate.
अर्जुन उवाच वञ्चितोऽहं महाराज हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मेऽपहृतं तेजो देवविस्मापनं महत् अर्जुन उवाच वञ्चितोऽहं महाराज हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मेऽपहृतं तेजो देवविस्मापनं महत्
अर्जुन उवाच वञ्चितोऽहं महाराज हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मेऽपहृतं तेजो देवविस्मापनं महद अर्जुन उवाच वञ्चितोऽहं महाराज हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मेऽपहृतं तेजो देवविस्मापनं महद
Yasya kshana viyogena, loko hya priyadarshanaha uktena rahito hesha, mritakah prochyate yatha. Yasya kshana viyogena loko hya priyadarshanaha uktena rahito hesha, mritakah prochyate yatha.
यस्य क्षणवियोगेन लोको ह्यप्रियदर्शनः उक्तेन रहितो ह्येष मृतगः प्रोच्यते यथा यस्य क्षणवियोगेन लोको ह्यप्रियदर्शनः उक्तेन रहितो ह्येष मृतगः प्रोच्यते यथा
यस्य क्षणवियोगेन लोको ह्यप्रियदर्शनः उत्थेन रहितो ह्येष मृतकः प्रोच्यते यथा यस्य क्षणवियोगेन लोको ह्यप्रियदर्शनः उत्थेन रहितो ह्येष मृतकः प्रोच्यते यथा.
From 7 is where Arjuna starts giving all those examples. So you'll be able to pick it up from the words that come. Yet samshrayat drupada geham upagatanam, comma, rajñam swayamvara mukhe smara durmadanam, tejo hritam khalu mayabhihatascha matsyah, comma, sajji kritena dhanushadi gata cha krishna. Yet samshraya drupadageham राज्ञां स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मयाभिहतश्च मत्स्यः सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च कृष्णा.
यत्संशया द्रुपदगेहम् उपागतानां राज्ञां स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मयाभिहतश्च मत्स्यः सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च कृष्णा. यत्संशया द्रुपते गेहम् उपागतानां राज्ञां स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मयाभिहतश्च मत्स्यः सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च कृष्णा.
यत्संश्रया द्रुपदगेहमुपागतानां राज्ञां स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मायाभिहतश्च मत्स्यः सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च कृष्णा. यत्संश्रया द्रुपदगेहमुपागतानां राज्ञां स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मयाभिहतश्च मत्स्यः सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च कृष्णा.
Yet sannidavahamu khandavam agnayed. You can break it that ma khandavam agnayedam. Put im at the end of that line, comma agnayedam. Next line, the me becomes e. Indram cha samara ganam tarasa vijitya labdha sabha maya kritadbhuta shilpa maya, comma digbyo haran nripatayo balim advarete. Yet sannidhavahmukhandavamagnayedam indram cha samaraganam tarasa vijitya labdha sabha maya kritadbhuta shilpa maya digbyo haran nripatayo balim advarete.
यत्संनिधावहमुत्काण्डवम् अग्नयेदा इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभामयकृताद्भुत अदेन्न वर्ड अजि
Maya kritadbhuta adbhuta word
ओके
kritadbhuta.
शिल्पमाया राइट
Yeah, yeah.
लब्धा सभामयकृताद्भुतशिल्पमाया दिग्भयो हरन् नृपतयो बलिम् अध्वरेते.
And the fourth line, first word is only a half ga. So digbyo.
दिग्भ्यो यत्संनिधावहमुकाण्डवम् अग्नयेद्धा इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभामयकृताद्भुतशिल्पमाया दिग्भ्यो हरन् नृपतयो बलिम् अध्वरेते.
यत्सन्निधावमहु खाण्डवमग्नयेदा इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्या लब्धा सभामयकृताद्भुतशिल्पमाया दिग्भ्यो हरन् नृपतयो बलिमध्वरेते यत्सन्निधावमः
Hamu.
यत्सन्नि sorry
It's Hamu. You're saying Mahu there. Yet Sannidava Hamu.
यत्सन्निधावहमु गाण्डवमग्नयेदा इन्द्रं च सामरगणं तरसा विजित्य लब्धा सभा माया कृताद्भुजशिल्पमाया दिग्भ्यो हरन् नृपतयो बलिम् अध्वरेते.
Gopiji, at the end of the first line, there is a im. So Agnayedam. Im.
Okay, गाण्डवमग्नयेदाम्. Okay.
Yat Tejasa Nripa Shirongrim Ahan Makarte. You can break it that ma. Shirongrim Ahan Makarte, comma. Aryunujas Tava Gajayuta Sattva Viryaha Tenahritah Pramata Nata Makaya Bhupa, comma. Yen Mochitas Tadanayan, it's one word, Mochitas Tadanayan Balim Advarete. यत्तेजसा नृपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिमहन्मखार्ते आर्योऽनुजस्तव गजायुतसत्त्ववीर्यः तेनाहृताः प्रमथनाथमखाय भूपा यन्मोचितास्तदनयन् बलिमध्वरेते.
ராஜேஷ், ஒரு குவிக் கொஸ்டின். மகார் தம்னு இதுல கொடுத்திருக்கு, தேன்னு மாத்திக்கணுமா?
Change it to te, second tha, makarte.
ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ.
यत्तेजसा नृपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिम् अहन्मकार्ते आर्योऽनुजस्तव गजायुतसत्त्ववीर्यः तेनाहृदा प्रमथनाथमकाय भूपा यन्मोचितास्तदनयन् बलिम् अध्वरेते. यत्तेजसा नृपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिम् अहन्मकार्ते आर्योऽनुजस्तव गजायुतसत्त्ववीर्यः तेनाहृदा प्रमथनाथमखाय भूपा यन्मोचितास्तदनयन् बलिम् अध्वरेते.
यत्तेजसा नृपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिमहन्मघार्णे आर्योऽनुजस्तव गजायुतसत्त्ववीरः तेनाहृताः प्रमथनादमखाय भूपा बलिमध्वरेते. यत्तेजसा नृपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिमहन्मघार्थे आर्योऽनुजस्तव गजायुतसत्त्ववीर्यः तेनाहृताः प्रमथनाथमखाय भूपा यन्मोचितास्तदनयन् बलिमध्वरेते.
पत्न्यास् तवादिमख क्लिप्त महाभिषेक, put a plus, श्लाघिष्ट चारु कबरं कितवैः सभायां स्पृष्टं विकीर्य पदयोः पतिताश्रु मुख्या, कमा, यस्तत् स्त्रियोकृत हतेश विमुक्त केशाः. पत्न्यास्तभादिमकक्लृप्तमहाभिषेकश्लाघिष्टचारुकबरं कितवैः सभायां स्पृष्टं विकीर्य पदयोः पतिताश्रुमुख्या यस्तत्स्त्रियो कृतहतेश विमुक्तकेशाः.
पत्न्यास्तवादिमकक्लृप्त, right?
It's a l, klipta.
पत्न्यास्तवादिमकक्लृप्त महाभिषेकश्लाघिष्ट चारुकबरं कितवैः सभायां पृष्ठं विकीर्य पदयोः पतिताश्रुमुख्या यस्तत्स्त्रियो कृतहतेश विमुक्तकेशाः. அந்த லாஸ்ட் லைன் கரெக்டா சொல்லணும்.
Yeah. Estat striyo krita. That word you used to say it together. Striyo and krita. Akrita,
Okay.
you say it together.
Okay. पत्न्यास्तवादिमतक्लुप्तमहाभिषेकः श्लाघिष्टचारुखबरं चिदवै सभायां सृष्टं विकीर्य पदयोः पतिताश्रुमुख्या यत्तत्प्रियो कृतहतेश विमुक्तकेशाः
पत्न्यास्तवाधिमुख क्लुप्तमहाभिषेक श्लाघिष्टचारुकबरं कितवैः सभायां स्पृष्टं विकीर्य पदयोः पतिताश्रुमुख्या यस्तस्त्रियो कृतहतेश विमुक्तकेशाः.
Gopiji, first line, so tavadi makha. You said mukha. It's makha.
Okay. पत्न्यास्तवाधिमख क्लुप्तमहाभिषेक श्लाघिष्टचारुकबरं कितवै सभायां स्पृष्टं विकीर्य पदयो पतिताश्रुमुख्या यस्तत्स्त्रियो कृतहतेश विमुक्तकेशाः.
One more and then we'll switch it. Just say it one time. Yo no jugopa vanametya duranta krichrade, chra sound, krichrade, comma, durvasasori rachitad ayutagra. If you want to break it, that it'll be easier. Rachitad ayutagra bhugyah shakana shishtam upayujya yatas trilokim, comma, triptam amamsta. Very easy to break it, that ma. Triptam amamsta salile vinimagna sangaha.
Rajeshji,
Oh,
second line in my book is Durvasa Sori Vihidada Yuda.
okay, can you change it to rachitad?
So after So Rajita,
No,
right?
sorry, durvasa
Sori.
sori
Okay.
rachitada yugagra.
Rajita.
Rachitada yugagra.
Thank you.
Is it
ராஜேஷ் ஒரு வாட்டி
Yugagra or
இன்னும் வாட்டி ரிப்பீட்
Yutagra?
பண்ண முடியுமா? சாரி
Sorry.
ராஜேஷ் இன்னும் வாட்டி ரிப்பீட் பண்ண முடியுமா? கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோவா.
Yeah, yeah.
சாரி.
And the durvasa sori, after that word in the second line, I think Sindhuji's book, they had a different word. You just change it to rachitada yugagra.
Is it Yugagra or Yutagra?
Yutagra, rachitada yutagra.
Okay.
So just type it. Rachita the
யுதாக்ர புக் யஹ தானே?
Yutagra தான் இருக்கு. நீங்க you are telling something else. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachitada yutagra bugyaha. Okay, I just typed it in the chat window, English version.
Thank you.
Yo no jugopavanamethya duranta krichrad durvasa sori rachitat ayutagra bhugyah shakana shishtam upayujya yatastrilokim triptam amamsta salile vinimagna sangaha.
यो नो जुकोपवनमेत्य दुरन्तकृच्छात् दुर्वासस्तोरिरचितात् अयुताग्रभुग्यः शाकानशिष्टम् उपयुज्य यतस्त्रिलोकीम् तृप्ताम् अमस्तसलिले विनिमग्नसङ्गः.
And the last line, amamsta, there's a im ma and then there's a im dot on top. So triptam amamsta. Sorry, I think you froze. Okay, go ahead, Gopiji.
Okay. यो नो जुकोपमनमेद्य दुरन्द.
Oh, sorry, Priya, are you back? Yeah. I was just saying. Huh?
Connection there.
On the last line, first word, triptam amamsta.
Triptam amamsta salile vinimagna.
Yeah, the first word motivation is something different. Yeah, go ahead, Gopiji.
यो नो जुकोपवनमेद्य दुरन्दकृच्छ्रान् दुर्वाससोरि रचितादयुताग्रभुग्यः शाकान्नशिष्टमुपयुज्य यतस्तिलोकीं तृप्ताम् अमंस्तसखिले सलिले विनिमग्नसङ्खः.
Okay, we'll switch. Amuchichi can be a student and Sabita can be a student. Yat Tejasata Bhagavan Yudhi Shula Panihi. So put a visarga and comma there after Panihi. Next word in the Vismapita, there is a ir that goes away. So Vismapitas Sa Girijostram. Girijo Astram together. Sa Girijostram Adan Nijamme. Easy to break it that ma. So Astram Adan Nijamme. Anyepi Chaham Amunaiva Kalevarena, comma. Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham. Either say it together, or if you want to break it, it becomes Mahad Asanardham. Yat
Radhe,
Tejasa
second line மட்டும் திருப்பி ஒரே ஒரு வாட்டி சொல்லுங்களேன். விஸ்மித் அந்த விஸ்ம அந்த
Vismapitas
ஆ,
Sa
ஆஹா,
Girijostram. Girijo Astram. Remember those two words, but you say it
ஆ.
together. The Girijostram Adan Nijamme.
Thank you, sorry.
यत्तेजसात भगवान् युधिशूलपाणिः विस्मापितः स गिरिजोस्त्रमदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम्.
Once or twice,
Twice,
Raji.
Samuchiti.
यत्तेजसाथ भगवन् युधिशूलपाणिः विस्मापितः स गिरिजोस्त्रमदन्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम्. यत्तेजसाथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणिः विस्मापितः स गिरिजोस्त्रमदन्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम्.
यत्तेजसाथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणिः विस्मापितः स गिरिजोस्त्रं मदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहं ममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम्.
Kavita, in the second line, because you're saying Girijostram, the next word becomes Adan Nijamme.
Okay. यत्तेजसाथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणिः विस्मापितः स गिरिजोस्त्रम् अदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम्.
तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं, गाण्डीव लक्षणम् अराति वदाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितं, you can break it that ma, यदनुभावितं आजमीढ, तेनाह मध्य मुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना. तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं गाण्डीव लक्षणमरातिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितमाजमीढ तेनाहमद्यमुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना.
तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं गाण्डीवलक्षणमरादिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितमाजमीढ तेनाहमद्यमुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना. तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं गाण्डीवलक्षणमरादिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितमाजमीढ तेनाहमद्यमुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना.
तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं गाण्डीवलक्षणमरातिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितमाजमीढ तेनाहमद्यमुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना. तत्रैव मे विरहतो भुजदण्डयुग्मं गाण्डीवलक्षणमरातिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिता यदनुभावितमाजमीढ तेनाहमद्यमुषितः पुरुषेण भूम्ना.
Abhita, in the first line you said birahato, it's viharato.
Viharato, okay.
Yet bhandava kuru balabdhim ananta. Break it that ma. Balabdhim ananta param. Put a im at the end of that line, comma. Next line, the meko becomes eko. Eko rathena tatareham atharya sattvam. Tatareham atharya sattvam. Pratyahritam bahudhanam cha maya paresham, comma. Tejaspadam manimayam cha hritam shirobhyah.
Rajesh, ஒரு quick question. தத்தேர்ஹம் அத்தீரிய சத்துவம்னு இதுல கொடுத்திருக்கு. நீங்க
Can you atharya sattvam?
தாரியவா கால் போட்டிருக்கணும். ஓகே,
ஆமா, atharya sattvam.
thank you.
Yad bandhavah kuru balabdhimanantaparam eko ratena tatareham atarya sattvam pratyahritam bahudhanam cha maya paresham tejaspadam manimayam cha hritam shirobhyah.
यद्बान्धवः कुरुबलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रथेन ततरेहमदार्यसत्त्वम् प्रत्याहृतम् बहुधनं च मया परेषाम् तेजस्पदं मणिमयं च हृदं शिरोभ्यः यद्बान्धवः कुरुबलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रथेन ततरेहमदार्यसत्त्वम् प्रत्याहृतम् बहुधनं च मया परेषाम् तेजस्पदं मणिमयं च हृदं शिरोभ्यः
यद्बान्धवः कुरुबलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रथेन
Tatareham atharya.
अतार्य सत्वं प्रत्याहृतं बहुधनं च मया परेषां तेजास्पदं मणिमयं च कृतं शिरोभ्यः यद्बान्धवः कुरुबलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रतेन ततरेहमतार्य सत्वं प्रत्याहृतं बहुधनं च मया परेषां तेजास्पदं मणिमयं च कृतं शिरोभ्यः
Yo bhishma karna guru shalya chamushvadabra, and then put a plus, rajanya vargya ratha mandala manditasu. So those two lines together. Agre charo mama vibho ratha yuta panam, put im, panam, comma. Next word instead of mayu becomes ayur. Ayur manamsi cha drisha saha oja archat. Yo bhishma karna guru shalya chamushvadabra rajanya vargyarata mandala manditasu agre charo mama vibho rata yuta panam ayur manamsi cha drisha saha oja archat.
यो भीष्मकर्णगुरुशल्यचमुष्वदभ्रराजन्यवर्यरथमण्डलमण्डितासु अग्रे चरो मम विभोरतयूथपानाम् आयुर्मनांसि च दृशा सह ओज आर्चत यो भीष्मकर्णगुरुशल्यचमुष्वदभ्रराजन्यवर्यरथमण्डलमण्डितासु अग्रे चरो मम विभोरथयूथपानाम् आयुर्मनांसि च दृशा सह ओज आर्चत
यो भीष्मकर्णगुरुशल्य चमुष्वदभ्रराजन्य वर्ग्यरथमण्डलमण्डितासु अग्रे चरो मम विभोरथयूथपानाम् आयुर्मनांसि च दृशा सह ओज आर्चत यो भीष्मकर्णगुरुशल्य चमुष्वदभ्रराजन्यवर्ग्य रथमण्डलमण्डितासु अग्रे चरो मम विभोरथयूथपानाम् आयुर्मनांसि च दृशा सह ओज आर्चत
यद्दोषु मा pranihitam guru bhishma karna, put a plus, naptr trigarta shala. I think some books have shalya. If you have shalya, you change it to, I think instead of shala, I think it had shalya or vice versa. So just change it to Shala if you have that. Naptra.
Rajeshji, in our book it says Draunitri Garta Shala Saindava Bahili Kadina.
Okay, so you don't have the word Naptra.
No, it says,
Bhishma Karna.
ഇല്ല രാജേഷ്.
We have Drauni instead.
yeah, Drauni.
Karna Drauni.
Karna Drauni. Okay, so I think can you just change it to this so we can be consistent, because this is, so it's Bhishma Karna. Naptra is referring to the great grandfather anyway. So I think that's what is Bhishma. That's what it is referring to, but I think it's just different word used here. So Karna, Naptra, Trigarta, Shala. Some books may have Shalya there. Shala, Saindhava, Bahlikadhyehi. That I think all of you might have that. Bahlikadhyehi. Clear? Anybody had any different question? Okay. Astranya Mogha Mahimani Nirupitani, comma, no Pasprishur Nrihari Dasam Ivasurani. Break it that ma. Dasam Ivasurani. All of these knees here are short knees. Yad doshuma pranihitam guru bhishma karna naptra trigarta shala saindhava bahlikadhyehi astranya moha mahimani nirupitani nopasprishuд nriharidasam ivasurani.
Yaddoshuma pranihidam guru bhishmakarna natritrigartashala saindava balhikadyaihi astranyamokha mahimani nirupitani nopasprisur nriharidasamivasurani.
Amuchechi, that second line, last word, bahlikadhyehi.
Balhikadyaihi.
No, it's ich. Bahlikadhyehi. It's a half ha. So it's,
ha comes first.
yeah, because it's a half ha. It is the he will not. Although it is written in Sanskrit, the ha with the la underneath it, the ha is a half ha. So it's bahlikadhyehi.
Bahli. Okay. Thank you. Yaddoshuma pranihidam guru bhishmakarna natritrigartashala saindava bahlikadhyaihi astranyamokha mahimani nirupitani nopasprisur nriharidasamivasurani.
Rajesh ji, the first word is there the double sha or single sha?
It's two das and two shas. Yad
Oh, okay. Two da and two sha. Okay. Thank you.
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरु भीष्मकर्ण नप्तृत्रिकर्त शलसैन्धव वाक्लिकाद्यैः अस्त्राण्यमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशर्हरिदास्मिवासुराणि. Is it das?
dasam ivasurani.
Dasam ivasurani. यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरु भीष्मकर्ण नप्तृत्रिगर्त शलसैन्धव वाक्लिकाद्यैः अस्त्राण्यमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशर्हरिदासं इवासुराणि.
Abhita, on the fourth line, first word, nopasprishuр.
Okay, nopaspryshur.
Yeah.
Nriharidas Dasamivasurani. Say solidran. Becomes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Rajesh, one doubt.
Yeah.
It is nahtri, right? Her sound, right? Nahtri.
Naptr.
Oh, it's pa sound. Naptr.
Naptr.
Okay. Okay.
So
Thank you.
like, you know, like pitos to naptra, pitu dharma karma, prachina bhartis, that also the naptr word comes there. So it's naptr.
Oh, it's ka. Okay, I thought it's ka, ke.
No, ip, naptr.
Naptr.
Okay, P sound. Okay.
Thanks for taking that, Priya. So this Bahlika, it says it's like she's the brother of Bhishma's father Shantanu. So that's the word. You can just search the name Bahlika. It's a H comes first. Bahlika. Bahlika. That's the name of the person. So we'll do maybe one more. Sautye Brita Kumati Natmada, one word, Ishwarome, comma, Yat Pada Padmam Abhavaya Bhajanti Bhavyaha Mam Shranta Vahamarayo Ratino Bhuvishtam, comma, न प्राहरन् यदनुभाव निरस्तचित्ताः सौत्ये वृतः कुमतिनात्मद ईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्ममभवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां श्रान्तवाहमरयोरतिनो भुविष्टं न प्राहरन् यदनुभाव निरस्तचित्ताः
सौत्ये वृतः कुमतिनात्मद ईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्ममभवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां श्रान्तवाहमरयोरधिनो भुविष्टं न प्राहरन् यदनुभावनिरस्तचित्ताः सौत्ये वृतः कुमतिनात्मद ईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्ममभवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां श्रान्तवाहमरयोरधिनो भुविष्टं न प्राहरन् यदनुभावनिरस्तचित्ताः
सौत्ये वृतः कुमतिनात्मद ईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्ममभवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां शान्तवाहमरयोरथिनो भुविष्टं न प्राहरन् यदनुभाव निरस्तचित्ताः सौत्ये वृतः कुमतिनात्मद ईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्ममभवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां शान्तवाहमरयोरथिनो भुविष्ठं न प्राहरन् यदनुभावनिरस्तचित्ताः.
Just do one more. And by the way, Savita, the second line la Padmam Abhavaya. Okay, second line.
Oh, Padmam Abhavaya. Okay, thank you.
Narman Yudhara Ruchira Smita Shobhitani, comma, He Partha Herjuna Sakhe Kuru Nandaneti Sanjalpitani Naradeva Hridi Sprishani, comma, Smartur Lutanti Hridayam Mama Madhavasya. Just do one time. Narmanyudhara ruchira smita shobhitani he partha herjuna sakhe kurunandaneti sanjalpitani naradeva hridi sprishani smartur luthanti hridayam mama madhavasya.
नर्मण्युदाररुचिरस्मितशोभितानि हे पार्थ हेऽर्जुन सखे कुरु नन्दनेति संजल्पितानि नरदेव हृदि स्पृशानि स्मर्तुर्लुठन्ति हृदयं मम माधवस्य
नर्माण्युदार रुचिरस्मित शोभितानि हे पार्थ हेऽर्जुन सखे कुरु नन्दनेति संजल्पितानि नरदेव हृदि स्पृशानि स्मर्तुर्लुठन्ति हृदयं मम माधवस्य.
ஒரு குவிக் கொஸ்டின் அது வந்து பேப்பர்ல வந்து ஸ்மர்த்தேன்னு கொடுத்திருக்கு நான் மாத்திக்கணுமா ஏதாவது அதுல
Smartur.
ஸ்மர்த்துர்னு மாத்திக்கணும் ஓகே
Smartur luthanti. Okay. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Kahena vacha manasendriye va buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaiti samarpayami. Thank you everyone. See you next week regular time.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rajesh.
Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.